If Dr. Brenner is just going to give people LSD and then suggest that they follow his commands through some hypnosis, I feel like everybody at Woodstock is performing this same experiment, right? Like, there's a lot of drugs being taken at Woodstock and a lot of creepy guys suggesting a lot of creepy things to young women. We follow Terry Ives, who is Eleven's mother. We get a little bit of her backstory and how she got involved with the project, and Dr. Brenner. And we get to see how she slowly falls into his clutches, how she slowly falls into the upside down, or how that starts to come about. And then we understand how Dr. Brenner comes into possession of Elle, let's say.
Yeah.
So this is a fairly simple young adult novel. I can tell it's a young adult novel because it focuses on such like mundane details and it wastes a lot of time getting to the point. Like, this story spends a lot of time building up all of the different characters. There's like 5 main characters, right? There's 4 people in the test group that get recruited by Dr. Brenner, and then there's Dr. Brenner. I suppose there's also 8, which is a little girl in the testing facility. But the novel spends a lot of time talking about these 4 characters. Eleven's mother, Terry Ives, is one of them. And it's mildly interesting, but not enough for 75% of the novel to cover these 4 characters. They're not that interesting. They have a lot of meetings where they're talking about the testing going on in the facility, how strange Dr. Brenner is, and how weird everything feels, but they continue to go back.
I know, I thought that was so odd. Like, I know that Terry's, from her point of view, her perspective was, I'm doing this because I know it's something that's big, it's huge, and it's important. And she wanted to be a part of that. But they're also giving you these, like, hallucinogenic, like, intense drugs and putting you through different, and, like, all of them go through different experiences, right? Because I think also because
I think they all get LSD. One of them gets shocked.
Yes.
I feel like if a doctor gave me LSD and shocked me, I am not going back for any reason.
And you can tell that she was obviously not traumatized by it, but she didn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
So why are you still going back? I know that right at the beginning of the book, they tell them, okay, now that you're into all this, like, your final grades matter if you continue through the program.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of what gets them to keep coming back.
Which, again, in my mind, is not enough for me to keep going back to a
it
facility where they're giving me very potent drugs,
and
making me
you.
see weird things, and then torturing me.
You.
And everything just feels creepy. I am not going back just to get a good grade in one class. I'm just going to fail the class and take summer school.
But then again, that's what's aiding to your point of view, like it being young adults. They're all so young and naive and, you know, kind of at the mercy of these doctors now because it's their grades. That's all that really matters to them at this point in life, right?
Yeah.
So kind of makes sense. But I'm also like, y'all crazy.
Yeah, you're crazy. Like, it just seems so unbelievable for them to be in such a stressful situation where them leaving has such low stakes that they just decided to stick around. Also, all right, so the story sets up Dr. Brenner as like this super cool scientist that's super smart and then he can read people and all of this business. But throughout the story, he never seems to know what's going on. Like, Terry Ives and group always concoct some kind of Scooby-Doo plan
against
to
him or something,
break in or steal something or escape, which never comes to fruition. And he seems to be like none the wiser. Or if he is wiser, it just happens that he's lucky enough for the plan not to work out.
I know that he's chosen all these people specifically for whatever traits that they have.
But how does he know? He gets Terry Ives accidentally.
I know.
He's not even smart enough to get her through some kind of intelligent plot. Terry Ives comes to him accidentally because her friend was like, yeah, that dude's weird. I'm not going anymore. She's like, I'll go.
I know. She's like, oh, that sounds like a great opportunity for me.
So she just goes and she shows up and she happens to be the most important person to Dr. Brenner, to the Stranger Things franchise, to this novel. And she shows up accidentally.
It was just a happy accident for Dr. Brenner.
It's just like a happy accident. I think they call it Deus Ex Machina or something in storytelling. Don't quote me. Which they set him up as some super smart guy, and it doesn't really prove true throughout the story. Also, what is his super cool sci-fi plan to bring about these superpowers from these people? It seems to me like all he's doing is giving them LSD and then shocking them. If Dr. Brenner is just going to give people LSD and then suggest that they follow his commands through some hypnosis, like, I feel like everybody at Woodstock is performing this same experiment, right? Like, there's a lot of drugs being taken at Woodstock and a lot of creepy guys suggesting a lot of creepy things to young women. Like, he doesn't need some multi-million-dollar test facility to pull this off.
Could have just went there, had a tent, grouped them all together. Here's some free drugs.
That would have been hilarious, yeah.
And boom.
Uncle Sam tent. They're giving out free LSD. Everybody's like, yes, please.
Yes.
And he records the results afterwards. Like, it would have been way more interesting if Woodstock was his test experiment, right? Huh. Like, all of these young people come to show up to see all of these musical events. Yeah. Little do we know, Dr. Brenner is conducting a huge experiment with all of these people at Woodstock, right? Like, behind in the back. Curtain, he's the one passing out all these weird drugs and measuring all of their results. Way more fascinating than what we actually get, which is absolutely nothing.
That actually would have been cool. And then he could have like chosen people just that way without anybody even being
right. Like, that's how he finds people, right? He's like, oh, we got some interesting test subjects from these people. Let's collect them. Because
why didn't he just like steal these people to begin with and just do all these crazy tests on them? Yeah. Like holding them captive. Like, that's essentially what he does to all the kids. Yeah. So why can't he just do it to these people?
It seems like way too much work to let them go back to their lives.
And then come back and then go and then come back and then go. Because they could just tell everyone anything. Even though they signed NDAs, who cares?
That matters very little to young kids who are very susceptible to pressure. Like, they would just tell anybody anything. Yeah. It just doesn't seem like a good plan for a smart guy. It seems like a good plan for a young adult novel that needs like the bare semblance of an actual storyline or a reason to do things before they take off.
Dr. Brenner is supposedly this amazing
genius. He's supposed to be a smart dude with a super secret test lab. Doesn't even seem secure.
I know. Yeah, people just coming and going as they please.
So the very end of this novel is the only time we actually get a connection between the episodes in the show and then the book. But other than that, like, we only get small peeks and glimpses of the Upside Down, right? And those were super cool.
I know. I loved it. And I think it's just because we've watched the show and we know like what to expect and what things kind of look like because of the show, things like that. So you're kind of like, when it starts to happen, when people start to see things, you're like, oh, the spores! I know exactly what they're talking about! And like, you just get so excited because you're a fan.
Or the monsters and stuff.
Yeah, and the monsters.
I got super excited when those happen, and it pops up every now and then in the story. But then we cut away and we talk about how Terry is working at the diner and she's serving food and people are drinking a Coke with some food, and this person in particular ordered this and she knew he ordered it, so she went and got it for him, and they're all great friends.
And honestly, I feel like if that were me, maybe I am too normal for this story, but if that were to happen to me, I had LSD, went on this crazy trip, saw some crazy monsters in some crazy place, I would not be the same person working at that diner. You know, I would be like traumatized. Yeah. I mean, I guess I just wouldn't be a good test subject, but...
No, I agree. I would be traumatized too. Like, and I wouldn't go back. Again, like, whether I thought what I saw was a dream or reality, either way, it was super scary, and I'm not going back. Yeah. It's pretty simple. If they're going back in the story, you need a stronger reason for them to go back.
Than it being your grade.
Then being their grades, or just because they thought it was important. It needs to be a very strong reason. Especially because this is like super top secret thing going on. That's why I'm saying I think they should have got some test subjects, maybe at like you were talking about Woodstock or something, and stolen these people and like kept them captive and did all these crazy tests on them, and then got all their research and all their stuff. But like, it just doesn't. It didn't add up. I could tell the story's written by a woman, too. I'm going to be sexist here.
Hey, rude! Totally no, don't do that.
Because...
I'm a woman sitting right here! How dare you?
Okay, let me know if you agree with this. But I find that when women write, they often take time to explain what women are wearing.
Yes,
right?
That's true. But...
They were like, from top to bottom, her hat, her earrings, her glasses, her shirt, her jacket, her pants, her socks, her shoes. They will stop everything to explain what she looks like.
I know.
Whereas a guy would never spend time on that.
I know, it doesn't
Which,
matter.
to be fair, if a guy was writing a military fiction novel, we will drop everything to explain a weapon.
Okay, yeah. I have no retort. That's accurate.
Because to you, it's interesting, right? Like when she stopped to explain what they were wearing, you're like, oh, very interesting.
Not that it's interesting or not that it's even really important. I think for women specifically, your appearance, it matters a lot to like the person's personality. I think it adds more to the character. I think you know more of what to expect from the person, sort of thing. Like if you see someone who looks super nerdy and stuff, right, wearing all the nerdy stuff and glasses, you're probably going to think, that person's probably super smart or like some weird stuff. And that's just the assumption that you make based off of what they look like. And for girls, that's just what we do.
And I like what you're saying is like, their appearance does give you an assumption of who they are. Perfectly fine. But if a guy was writing the novel, I feel like he would have just said, oh, she looks nerdy, and we would have moved on.
Yeah, moved on.
But I feel like when women write, they will detail how she looks.
Because it matters, okay? I want to know what color the frame of her glasses are.
Yeah, exactly. The frame, the shape, and they'll give you the style as if I know the name of that style. Now I have to Google what she means by horn-rimmed glasses.
You're like, what?
So did you like this book overall?
I liked it, but I agree. A lot of it probably could have been, 150 pages long?
Yeah.
And I think it's super, super character driven because you get to see everybody's perspective. You get to learn a lot about them and who they are and how they're thinking and what they're going through. But it was just too wordy. It was too much. And
I feel like the author
was missing something.
Was given a contract by the Stranger Things people. And they were like, okay, I want you to write 300-page plus novel, and here's the only things you can say about Stranger Things, and go. And she was like, crap, I have to write 300 pages?
Yeah. It's like, well, let's be as detailed as possible for every
fills it,
scene.
with a bunch of like detailed minutia that doesn't even matter.
Yeah, every scene.
And then just fills in a couple of points that she was allowed to say.
Yeah.
And then moved on, right? It feels like a cash grab. Like this easily could have been like a short fan fiction story.
Super short. And I felt like had it been shorter, it would have felt more of like this intense test that happened within like a week or two, like that kind of a span, and like it just increased every visit. Everything was super intense.
I feel like if we had removed all the fluff and then escalated these testing things until it got super creepy, and then you're like, oh my god, and then the ending, and I don't think I'm giving anything away because if you watch the show, you know that 11 is taken from her mother. So we end with that and you're like, oh my god, it's amazing, and we're all done. But instead we get like peaks of intrigue, and then we just dive down into like a bunch of minutia about people that are barely interesting.
A minutia abyss.
Abyss of minutia?
Yeah, there you go. Abyss of minutia. I don't know. I felt like it had a lot of potential, but just too much words and not enough like Stranger Things.
Yeah, not enough of Stranger Things. Yeah. Like I feel like they were trying to make the college kids into the kids in Stranger Things. Like they tried to make them interesting.
Yeah, but
they just weren't. One of them was kind of psychic, maybe sometimes.
Right.
And it never actually helped throughout the story. One of the girls was into comic books and she was super smart. Her, I think, background in biology or science kind of helped a little bit. Another one was like handy with tools, and she like configured some gadget to like zap herself to then go into the upside down. Terry Ives, pointless other than her uterus. And then another dude is kind of psychic.
As women feel sometimes, that's exactly how we feel. It's that we're no good just for our uterus. That's all our purpose. That's it. Especially nowadays. Good Lord.
But that's basically it. Where all of the kids in the show, they all have their quirks. God, they're all funny. Yeah. They're all interesting. They're all having kid-like conversations. Where in this one, they make a reference to Lord of the Rings.
Oh my God, quite a few times.
And I feel like every time they reference it, it's like contrived. Like it doesn't even really relate.
Yeah, it doesn't work. Like they even got dressed up as Frodo and Sam. And I'm just like, that's cute. Yeah. I get it was the time. But like, I'm here for Stranger Things.
It's not like part of the story. You know what I mean? Which is similar to a moment in the show where in season 4, very end, I don't think I'm giving anything away. There's a moment where one of the kids asks for a mask to pull off some heist. And they give him a Michael Myers mask. And you're like, oh, awesome. Yeah, and then the next scene, he takes it off and it was pointless.
Yeah, I know. I was like, wait, he's running. I think so people didn't see him because everybody's looking out for him.
But he's also trailed by like 9 other kids.
I know, that's what I thought too. I was like, who's not going to notice all these kids just running around? That doesn't make any sense.
So I think it's just as pointless as Lord of the Rings in the novel.
But I think what it was is because Stranger Things makes so many references to that time period that it's set. I think it was trying to do the same thing, but it just
Didn't
work. I don't know if it's because it's not the same characters as in the show, because we love every single character in the shows.
Yeah.
The show. So maybe that's why it didn't work. We didn't care about these people.
So take it from two people who love the show. This book is not worth it.
No.
Everything it gives you, you already know.
Yeah.
It's just waste your time with a little bit of character building. Unfortunately, I would give this book like 1 or 2 stars.
I know. And mostly the stars are just because they brought up little bits of Stranger Things. That's what it is.
That's it.
That's what I got.